first, just to see what you want to do, and then we'll
Yep.
work it out from there, eh?
Yep. Perfect.
Sweet. I'm gonna share my screen, which actually has your smiling face actually on it at the moment. Give me a second. Yeah, there you go. Um, but I'll bring it back up to the top. Um, so other than what Nathan's let you know of us, did you have a chance to sort of have a look at what Diffy Social was about and what we do, that sort of stuff, Franco?
Yeah, I did. I read
Yeah.
a bit of the pamphlet of it as well.
Yep.
It's pretty interesting. To be honest, I might get you to do my little side business as well. Yeah,
You guys
pretty interesting.
you all have your hustles and things going on. What's the side business look like?
So it's an online store selling.
Oh yeah.
So you know how couples match and stuff, like
Yeah.
matching clothing and stuff. So
Yeah.
essentially, this one's like pet and humans matching clothes styles.
That's pretty cool. That would play quite
Yeah,
nicely into my wife's Vietnamese. I'm thinking that probably played quite nicely into the Asian community as well, right?
100%, and I'm pretty sure a lot of Westerners as well will be
Westerners are
perfect.
getting into it too.
100%. You know, everybody wants to match with their pets now.
There you go. Oh, look at that. Awesome. Um, yeah, all I was going to say is because if you've had a look, um, basically what I'm kind of working through. So normally when we sort of people sort of ring us up, let's say you didn't know Nathan, there's a good
Mm-hmm.
chance you'd ring us up. I'd send you the brochure that I think I shared, and then people
Mm-hmm.
kind of look at, okay, let's do an audit, right? And so
Yeah.
that's where we're at today. Is all I've done so far is just done an audit that I could have a chat with you because Nathan's introduced you in. So normally we kind of do fees and things, but I'm thinking, realistically, you've kind of said you want to go and do some stuff. So I'm kind of not doing it. I'm not doing it by the textbook. You're sort of coming in
Yeah.
under the
Okay.
WGB. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
won't
Yeah.
hit you up for any consulting fees at this point in time.
Yeah. Okay.
So you understand. So yeah, the first
Yeah.
thing that we do, kind of so that we can understand, is we need to kind of work out, where you're at. And I don't
Yeah.
think yesterday I probably asked any questions around that, but maybe just before I talk through this, just tell me about your journey, like MTech suspension, what when you started, what's the ideas for it, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So I'm part of Danny, so
Yep.
Western General Body Groups.
Yep.
So they've been doing panel beating for a while, and they did try mechanical a couple years ago, and they failed. And then Nathan introduced me to Danny, and then they thought maybe they'll give it a try go. And then now it's been 6 months and it's been really successful.
Cool. Okay.
And yeah, so he's really happy with it. So that's why we're all, going all for it now, because it was just a trial period at first.
Yeah. Okay.
And then to see if it's profitable. And at the moment, it's doing pretty good, especially during a pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just working out really well for everyone. And yeah, it's and we've spent at least over $150,000 on equipment already.
Oh yeah. To get us
So
get
we've got
things
top of
set
the
up and
line.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Excellent.
exactly. So yeah, so we've got $100,000 wheel light machine, which is like the top of the market
Yep.
for whatever that machine is.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Um,
so we're full floors now, full go ahead now.
yeah. Yeah. What got you into this sort of arena? You sort of mechanic handy yourself. How did you finish up doing this yourself?
So I'm an qualified auto electrician, which I did work as a mechanic for a couple of years.
Yep.
And I my previous job I was research and development for the police cars, and I was doing a lot of those tech work and programming
Right.
coding for the police force
Wow.
for a private company. And
Interesting.
then before that, I was doing like a lot of European cars, and I worked at a dealership for a bit. I was operations manager for a full drive shop, so I do have some experience, but like I think it's just hard work ethics, and I just
Yeah.
executed
Yeah.
it as
I'm
best as
gonna.
I can.
I'm wondering your name, Franco Lam. I don't reckon that's your Vietnamese name. Is there a Vietnamese? Are you Vietnamese?
No, it's actually my name. I don't have any other names. I was born with that name.
Really?
I don't know.
They liked Franco Cozzo that much. They named you after him.
Yeah, I think so.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
so I was born in Sydney.
were
To be
you?
honest, I don't even know how I got my name. My parents don't even know how I got my name. It's actually funny. I don't know. Sometimes I
Nice.
think they just flick through a book and just pick that name.
that is funny because I told you my wife's Huong, right? My wife's
Yeah,
Vietnamese, yeah?
yeah,
And so
yeah,
and when I first met my wife and, we were studying at Monash, right?
yeah.
And she says to me, I've been using the English name Lisa. And I'm like, I'm not gonna call you Lisa. My sister's name's Lisa, and you don't look like a Lisa. And so
Yeah,
And so I'm pretty sure because I met her, she was probably only been here 3 or 4 months, and she's like,
yeah.
"Okay, I won't use Lisa anymore." And so, she stuck with her birth name. It was Huong, yeah. And
Yeah.
I still don't think I say it properly, right? So I kinda
There's a little accent in
yeah,
it.
so she'll often say to people, "Oh, you say that well. You say that better than Steve says it." You know?
It's
Anyway.
actually funny because I grew up my whole life and every time it's on the phone, it's like, hey, my name's Franco. And then when I get there in person, it's like, doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, to a degree, sort of Nathan's is a little bit of a giveaway because he's got like Nathan Ty, and then you think, okay,
Yeah,
there's some chance then, so, um,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, hey, it's all good. Um, and the reason I kind of just, it would have made so when people ask Huong where she's from now, generally she'll say Footscray, right?
Yeah,
Whereas in actual fact, she, initially came out and she was from Hanoi.
yeah,
Yeah, so she kind of, yeah, it just makes it a lot easier because people just figure, oh yeah, there's a lot of Vietnamese in Footscray.
that's
So
true.
hence I was thinking, the most famous Franco in Footscray, will you just become the second most famous one, maybe?
Right
In the
next to the
Maribyrnong
biggest drug
Council.
dealer in Footscray.
Certainly, you are the first and only Franco Lamb I've ever met. So that's
I've
very
actually
good.
Googled myself. There's actually another Franco Lam in Hong Kong,
Is that
funny enough.
right?
Yeah.
That
I
used to
thought,
be quite a vain thing to do, but nowadays it's just like as soon as you do that, generally you expect to see, as you said, you just kind of hope there's no other Franco Lambs that are on LinkedIn, for
that is
instance.
that, that's
Um,
actually true. That's actually true.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know how many Steve Hubbards there are. There's way too many. Um, I'm sure there didn't used to be too many. I was going to tell someone. Yeah. Whoop. Um, I was. Yeah. So let's. How did we get onto that conversation anyway? I'm
Nathan's
not.
just giving me a call right now. Actually, give
That's
us one
probably
second.
Nathan. Probably tried to call me
Yeah.
first. I think. Yeah.
Hey man, I'm in it right now. I'm in it right now. Yeah. Yeah. I'll keep you updated a bit later. Bye. Bye.
Yeah. So it's probably good timing, good segue. So what I'm thinking is we'll treat this as a bit of a, as you said, by extension, it's of the WGBW family, right? Is
Yeah.
what I'm hearing. So
Mm.
um, except that funny story, but true. And I don't know if Nathan told you this, but I reckon Danny and WGBW was one of my
Mm.
first ever clients back in the day, right? I reckon I was probably about 20. Um, Danny reckons it was earlier, but I'm pretty sure it was about 2013, 2012, 2013, maybe, right?
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
that
Okay.
stage, I was thinking, like a lot of people that sort of educate and coach, I was thinking, I'll go in and I'll show these people how they do it so they can do it themselves, right?
Mm.
And there
Mm.
used to be an
Mm.
older guy that was there. His name was Gary, I
Ken.
believe.
Yep.
And I swear, when I rocked up, he would be like, "Oh no, oh my god, this is terrible. I can't believe this guy's coming again. He's going to talk all technical stuff and social media um, like literally, he called me the technical guy, which is kind of funny now because then how I came back in is because Phil started working with WGBW,
Yeah.
and Phil
Yeah.
is actually in the IT, but they just
I
figured because
see.
I knew how to use the computer for social media that I must be an IT guy, right? Um,
It's funny
Anyway,
how they
it was a
Google
good
things.
learning experience. So
Yeah.
I'm fairly sure with Gary that we did actually set up the first run of Facebook and Instagram, and I think I even played a part even in the website and how they sort of maybe set that up, whether it was good or bad. But
Yeah.
realistically,
Okay.
it's funny to come back and now I'm a much better different business, and
Yeah.
clearly even WGBW. I think back in the day is probably at least doubled since I was first in there anyway. So Danny's gone on
100%.
and is
Mm.
and doing well. Um,
Yes.
yeah. So, but you're realistically, and that makes sense now that you tell me it's sort of only really 6 months and you're about to go full bore. But it kind of then makes
Mm.
sense of where we're at, right? So
Yes.
the first thing we do with any business is whether they've got and been around for a while or they've just started is actually just put the name into Google, like we
Yes.
just talked about for you, and see what comes up, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because like this is you, right? Which is good. So that was
I did that. Yeah,
you
I
did
did
that.
all
When
that.
did you do it? Just recently?
Probably about a month ago.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I can tell you that probably less than 50% of people would put their Google My Business in. So good on you. You've done that. There's a whole bunch of stuff we'd want to do to make it so it's actually got up to date stuff. But
Mm.
what we kind of generally expect when you put in a name is yes, it's brilliant if the Google My Business comes up. But I kind of figured I might have
Yeah.
a bit of a problem when I click on website and then it takes me to the error, right? And so the
Yes.
website at this stage, is anything happening with that?
So we've got News Corp building that right now. So hopefully they could execute that within 2 weeks,
Okay,
as
cool.
they expected. But it should be not too long.
Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, because News Corp are then doing the elements around the advertising as well. So okay, cool.
Correct.
Well, that's good to know. All right.
Yeah.
So that will help us, right?
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it also probably means the first thing we should do is just do the setup in the first instance. And
Yes.
then once we've got a website, let's look at planning and then management. Let's wait
Yes.
until we know we've got a
Yeah.
website, right? Otherwise, it's going to
Yes.
be too much hard work
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to make it work. Yep. So, yeah, but what you can see, which is kind of funny, because the top thing is Facebook, but it's not you. It's some
It's
other.
not.
It's something out of. It's something out of the UK, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
the Instagram is you, which is good.
Yes.
Um, but what we'd expect is that basically over time, if we do this again,
Yeah.
this mob will probably know. It may well still be on the page because it's a longevity thing, but
Yeah.
it will have the website above it. It'll
Yeah.
have probably your LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter and all. It'll slowly probably get knuckled down, particularly
Yeah.
if we were to write Footscray, on it, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's the reason we do that, right? We want to sort of get a sense, right? You
Mm.
don't have it because you don't have a website. I'll just let you know the same thing as I let Western General know, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's still some improvements that he's making, but this is what I've told Nathan. I was thinking with Phil's support. So you know that Phil kind of does decent websites, and he can sort of help tweak. Probably not the cost of the other mob, but anyway, the
Yeah.
reality is we've been taught to read websites in a particular way, and at the moment I know this one's being done. So, um,
Mm.
but see how something's going wrong, and I think it's got to do with the upgrade that's happening, right? This newest
Yeah.
up. But we've been taught to read websites from the top left down
Yeah.
and up,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
what I've asked Nathan to have a look at is that this is great. It won 300, smashed. That's
Yeah.
how we want people to contact you, right? But
Yes.
we also want to let them know that you have, in this case, and whether it's MTech or whether it's Western General, that you have
Yeah.
Facebook, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, you have Google My Business, you have YouTube, basically all those links up the top there, right? Because
Mm. Mm.
when they're down here, there's two down here, and
Yeah.
funnily enough, I reckon this one, if nothing's changed, then I have a feeling I could be wrong. I have a feeling one was broken. But anyway,
Okay.
yeah, so this one does what it should do. So Facebook
Yeah.
exists, but we just want it
Yep.
higher up on the page because people probably won't drag down there.
That's
Um,
true. Yep.
and
Yep.
um, and I think actually Instagram probably works as well. Yeah, but we just want these up higher.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Because
also,
yours
what
are
I
quite.
reckon would be good is
Mm.
we get this feed, whether it's the Instagram. I'd probably prefer the Facebook feed sitting in on the page as well to show that there is some activity, and it just helps
Mm.
proof the page. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and then he does have LinkedIn, and this previously was a vacuous page, but this now has posts going through to it. Um,
Okay.
and
Yep.
so, but as I said, so the three icons that are missing is Twitter, Google My Business, and YouTube, because
Yeah.
they all of a sudden look as good, if not better, than the actual. See, I come straight in as an admin, but effectively, all these posts are sitting in here as well now, right? There's some activity
Yeah.
going on. So anyway,
Perfect.
it's important that, and I'll show you in a second that in the discussions at some point with the website, you just explain to
Hmm.
them how a good website should look. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so I'll show you that. I'll send you a proposal sort of after today,
Yeah.
for next week.
Hmm.
That has this infographic in it. I don't know if
Okay.
Nathan probably hasn't shown you it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
do you need to grab that? Is that you? Yeah.
No, it's all good. All good. All
Okay.
good.
I found you this morning. Thanks. We're connected now. So you're no longer at number
Yeah.
two connection. So this is good. What we'll
Yeah.
make sure is that you're all star, right? So behind here, you're going to have some sort of wham bam, thank you, ma'am, sort of suspensions or auto or whatever you want. Often it's the
Okay.
secondary image that you'd use to the website. It doesn't have to be the
Yes.
same. And in fact, it doesn't even have to be exactly the same, right? You said you've got a side hustle. You might want to do something that's, just puts you in a sort of creative that just helps bring you out the page, and you might want to talk about the
Okay.
side hustle in here as well, right? It doesn't
Okay.
have to be. Plenty of people nowadays, myself included, wear more than one hat, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
clearly, if I'm working on the MTech, we want to make sure that that's prominent and that
Yes.
you're an admin and clearly positioned within it as well, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes. Yes. Makes
because
sense.
you will probably become the chief salesperson. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
was that other. So in actual fact, I initially clicked on the other one and realized it's only when you actually do by search with MTech suspension that your actual page comes up, right?
Yeah.
Which is this one,
Yeah.
um, which is actually quite good because I noticed the other one. What we would do is we'll name it in such a way that it'll be all one word and MTech suspension. Will you keep that?
Okay.
I mean, because it's not just suspension, is it?
To be honest, no, not at all. We do everything else. That's the thing. I've been wanting to get rid of suspension because we don't really need the suspension. It just categorizes it into a bad area. Because we do autolex as well, and autolex is mostly more needed in every other industry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because everyone could fix the suspension. No one could fix electrical problems.
Why don't you just call it MTech Auto?
Yeah, that's actually not bad. Yeah,
Have you
I'll run
given
it by
some thought
Nathan.
around that? Because there's a few reasons why that would be really advantageous, right? So
Mm,
understanding branding is everything, right? It's not just the visual; it's actually
yeah.
the URL naming that you use. It's the website
Mm,
URL that you might use. Um,
yeah,
Something like Twitter, MTech suspension wouldn't even fit. It's too long, right?
that's true. Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
MTech Auto, I think you were gonna use MTech. What was the website supposed to be? It was oh yeah, so it is MTech suspension, right?
Yeah, so we're
If
gonna
you're
get a
ever
new
going to
domain.
change the name, now is the
Yeah.
time to do it.
I'll run it by Danny and Nathan tonight,
I reckon
over the
you
weekend.
just tell him that and the good thing for me is I'm older than Danny, and
Mm.
so whilst I don't expect that necessarily means much, uh, at least I don't feel too bad about telling him what's good for him, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right? So I would just say Steve has a master's in marketing and he reckons we should call it MTech Auto or whatever you think might be better,
yeah,
more appropriate,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think, and you're an auto repair shop, MTech Auto, um, without actually knowing how that competes and making sure that it's actually available. I wonder whether actually it is available, MTech Auto, because that's a different audit, but
That's true.
it would be interesting. MTech Auto California. MTech, see, they've all put spaces in though, so we don't need those spaces.
Yeah.
It looks to me like you could get MTech Auto. What the heck is that anyway? Look, it's like a garbage in there. MTech Auto California. So MTech Auto AU is going to be available, although it seems in um in the states it's there you go. It's auto. It's not that dissimilar, right?
Auto accident repairs, maintenance. That's actually what we do.
How funny, eh? Um,
they probably went through the same. It's like MTech suspension doesn't work. Let's just do MTech as well.
Yeah, yeah. What what about if you went Auto Plus or something along those lines? Well, I guess
That will be that franchise. Auto Plus is that franchise.
MTech Auto Plus. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, or just that Auto Plus is just that
Yeah,
franchise
true.
already.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, um,
We'll figure it out.
figure it out before we do the setup because what we want to do is make sure that your web address URL.
Yeah.
Um, I would suggest it's better to do it early than later when you have to then retrofit it, right? Because clearly there's a couple of branding
Mm.
things then you'd want to have too. Um,
Yeah. The logo's got to change and everything.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, maybe we don't need to put it in the too hard basket. We can create it as MTech suspension, and if MTech suspension's
Mm.
what it's being done at the moment,
Yeah.
um, then that's what we go with. But anyway, if you're gonna have any other thoughts, then maybe
Mm.
think about it and let me know. Um,
Okay.
this one clearly has only just been created as well, and it's a little bit of a at the moment it's not doing much for you other than to say that this without this part we probably
Yeah.
could use this sort of image. Um,
Yes.
the biggest challenge for you earlier, and Nathan I think said the other day is it'd be really good to get as um, think about the imagery. I'm
Mm.
sure you can get some imagery, and it doesn't have to be world class. Just make sure
Yeah.
you got plenty of imagery of of what you do and people
Yep.
doing it. You know,
Yep.
you could probably do
Yep.
that quite quickly. Yeah, with
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm
It's just because I'm a photographer, but the problem is the
there.
place
You
doesn't look
go.
that great, so I can't really take good photos
Yeah, you're a
of
photographer.
because.
There you go. I was thinking you would know a good photographer as well. So, if you're a photographer, yeah. But hey, as I said, um, I don't know if you've seen what we've been using for Western General. There's a few ones here that I think that are awesome, right? So we
Yeah.
don't need to do the before and after, but they're good to do if you have that
Yeah.
anything relevant along those lines. But
Yeah.
more's the ones I was thinking that really work well. Um, I think where are they sitting? There's the guys a bit like your one at the moment where they're just working on the car.
Yeah. 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 Just casual shots.
Yeah, those shots are great, right? So we've used it as the cover where there's a slick looking sort of uh yeah. Anyway, it's something that I'm sure you if you're a photographer, no excuses. No
Don't know, say
excuses
anything.
for you, right? Um
Yeah.
I've got to speak to Olivia this afternoon to make sure that then she knows how to copy and paste them into the Dropbox for me so I can easily share. But more's the point,
Mm.
I want her to put it on the website. Right throughout
Okay.
the website, right, so that they're
Yeah.
easy,
Okay.
and it's
Yeah.
actually a little bit of a treasure trove. They actually are
Mm.
quite hidden on the website at the moment. They're
Yeah.
actually it takes a bit of looking to find them. So
Okay.
there is a few on there, right? It
Yeah.
just saves me. So this sort of image, I think, is great, right? This
Yeah.
sort of image
Okay.
here of this guy working on the car, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anything that can show you, because other people don't do it. I can tell you, bugger all people do it. If you're a photographer,
Okay.
you know that, and I'm sure. Don't be. It does. What do they say? um, done is better than perfect. You know,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah. Okay.
So if it's 80% good, then
Yeah.
that's probably 100% better than your opposition. So
Makes
think of
sense.
about
Makes
it that
sense.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't overthink it too much.
You don't overthink it. Exactly. But, if you've got a photographer's eye, then you're going to kill
Yeah.
it, right? Um, the mistake that a lot of businesses make is not that your Instagram's not appealing, but
Yeah.
is that they think they have to do Canva type images and that sort of stuff. They don't. You don't, right? So in actual fact,
Okay.
if a business like yours wasn't giving me any pictures, I'd go to
Yeah.
Unsplash and I'd just use Unsplash and use pictures of cars, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
much better to use things. You don't need to explain what it is. There's a
Yeah.
couple of reasons. Is because on Facebook we know to read the post, and if we're
Yeah.
advertising, there's click through, And
Yeah.
as soon as people see something on, and this is fine. I mean,
Yeah.
check engine light on, that's fine. Need a
Yeah.
wheel alignment, that's probably okay too. But
Yeah.
realistically, often it's you can't even read it. That's even hard to read on a laptop, little on a probably a mobile picture potentially.
That's
And
true.
the other,
Sorry, can I just interrupt you
you're
again?
right. Yeah, you go. You're right.
Hey, Land Rover, 1KX. Yep. Yep. All right. Perfect. Thank you very much. Thanks. Okay, bye. Oh, phone never stops.
No, you're all good. So, and the other good thing on Instagram, you actually got the name that I'd be grabbing for you now, right? We want to get the MTech
Yeah.
suspension name, so let's stick with
Yeah.
that. That's available on Twitter as well. Again, it's going to help you from a search, and we do post through it, right? For those people that happen to use Twitter,
Perfect.
it's
Yep.
good from a geographic and industry perspective. Um,
Yep.
I mentioned the fact that you've got this. Effectively, it's really important you understand that this share link icon here creates the Google icon that you'd put on the website, so that people can easily find you and review you.
Yep.
It's the one that you share to
Yes.
people so they can give you reviews. The name
Okay.
appeared to be available as well on YouTube, so we could easily
Yep.
create that. And YouTube, you might have seen with Western General, finishes up being the best landing page you can have in a way, even if you
Yeah.
don't put any this Western General. See if it comes up.
Do you
General.
do TikTok?
I've got TikTok for my company.
Yeah.
Um, the easiest answer is I I I don't, just because there's generally not a usage for it, but I'm happy
Yeah.
to.
Okay.
So
Because what I was actually thinking for Western General is to, for Bruno the spray painter, I was actually going to put a GoPro on him and then record him days of work when he's spraying. So like there's ASMR videos and spray painting videos,
yeah, yeah.
and then I'll cut them to short films of all different styles, and then like a nice view over the car after. I'll get my gimbal out and then do a view around it.
That's how we use it as well. So basically,
Okay.
we use TikTok to create the video, which we
Yeah.
can then easily share across the other five more typical platforms, particularly for advertising. But
Mm.
TikTok's algorithm, the reach is ridiculous. It's like
Yeah.
100% compared to Instagram, right?
100%.
So
Yeah.
I am more than happy to create a work. If you've got your hands on that, maybe it's
Mm.
the fact that, yeah, well, let's create it so that you
Mm.
can actually create TikToks for Western General. Just do it for the brand, and you could
Yeah.
share those TikToks across the other channels. When I say
A
you,
hundred percent.
I'd be able to do that, right? So
Yeah,
um,
yeah. So I'll create the content, and then you could just do the
I can
rest.
use it.
I'll try.
It
Can
would
you
be
edit as well,
perfect.
or I should edit it, isn't it? I'll edit it
Yeah.
and I'll
So
do the
I
rest.
mean, as I said, you know that no one ever comes in, but it's ridiculous how many people see when you do post. I haven't posted there for a while because I had one of the girls working with me doing them. Hopefully this
Mm,
goes through. Oh, it's going to want me to log in.
yeah.
Can I not log in and still see it? Let's see. Maybe not. Anyway, I do have a channel, and I kind of typically. Yep.
Cool. That's ready. I'll call Bruno now. Can you give us 1 second? Let me just call
No
a
worries,
quick
mate. Yeah,
customer.
yep. Excuse me.
Spray paint. All good. Sorry about that.
No, that's all good. Anyway, good idea. TikTok, use it to create content, not to
Yeah.
yeah. So essentially, what I'd be recommending, and I'll come back to you, it'd just be a matter of determining if you're wanting to go. We just go with a setup day, um,
Mhm.
and yeah, as I said, I need to create it, but because we're a package type deal, this is what we.
Mm.
It's on the website, right? So effectively, the idea
Yeah.
of doing a setup, it sets up your Well, I'm happy to do the WGBW one with you as well. But effectively, your 6 MTech social medias, yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Mm.
and yeah, it's just a 3-hour session. Where basically most of yours you're creating from scratch, which
Yeah.
often makes it easier. But
Yeah.
I'm assuming you can access at the moment the Google My Business, yeah, because you set it
Yeah.
up,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's it.
You
Yeah.
can access the Facebook page.
No, Path did that for me. One of Fuel's guys did that for me. I could probably get the
We'll
passwords.
work out how we need to we need to be able to access that. What about the Instagram?
Yeah. Instagram is under my phone number.
Okay. So again, we
Yeah.
just need to, because as a business, we just need to connect them in together. But yeah, realistically,
If I need to delete them and just put everything under my email, work email, I think that'll probably be better. I should have done that. I should have done that from the start.
oh yeah, well, we can transfer it easy though. You're not
Oh, is
locked
it?
into. Yeah, yeah, it's easy. Once you just need to be able to
Okay.
access it. Yeah, there. So
Yeah,
basically,
that's perfect.
once, because it's a Facebook product, once the Facebook page is created with you, we need to
Yeah.
integrate it with the Facebook page, and then we
Yeah.
just make sure it's your MTech. We'd use your MTech email and your
Yeah.
mobile for everything. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So
Actually, no. Can you leave my phone number out? Because I'm trying to use that as my side hustle.
yeah, yeah, no, no. But when I say
Yeah.
we use it, but that's your private in terms of your security, not for your
Ah.
public. Yeah, not for
Yes.
your
Yes.
public.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so, so yeah, basically, yeah. So it's a $610 session, like a half day sort of session to get all that set up
Yeah.
with you. I'll
Yeah.
send it to you as I said as a proposal. I
Mm.
think at this stage that's just then a matter of you deciding, okay, yeah, I can do 3 hours on this day. Usually for us, Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, Fridays are the best days. Um,
Yeah.
and then once websites are set up,
Mm.
then you work out whether we want to have a 2-hour planning session, which is kind of the
Okay.
next step on here. And as I said, I'll put it
Yeah.
on the proposal, but we'll just kind
Mm-hmm.
of work it as a to be, to be determined, right? And
Yeah.
then,
Okay.
and from a management perspective, I'm thinking, given you're coming from nothing, I was thinking you'd probably do every second day posting rather than every day posting like WG. So Western General's been doing everyday posting.
Yeah.
Is that what you were thinking?
Well, I think 2 posts to 3 posts a week is all right. Like
Yeah.
extra small, you know?
Yeah. So that's extra, extra
Yeah.
small. The reason, firstly, I put you on a better plan. It's on a better scheduler. And
Yeah.
the middle post in the week when we do it like this, it's actually about ambush marketing, trying to get to other people. So
Yeah.
is to try and actually bring it up. But again, I don't mind too much.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You can let me know. The difference being is one is 4 monthly reporting and a free published scheduler,
Yeah.
whereas this is every second month reporting, 3 times a
Mm.
week posting, and a
Yeah.
slightly better particularly if we're going to be posting video. So that you just need a higher end, because even if we were using TikTok, we'd
Mm.
post that as an MP4 to
Yeah.
both Facebook and Instagram, so that it plays straight up automatically. It
Yes.
doesn't have to
Yes.
go to a link, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that'll be something that you can kind of have a think about and come back to me. Yeah.
I think from what Nathan said yesterday, I think we're gonna go with that one. The R now 280,
Yeah.
250. I think he was
Okay.
pretty happy with that one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do that, and then that way, I'll put that on the sort of proposal quote, and then
Yeah.
yeah, and then you can just
Perfect.
come back to me around the sort of timings. What I'll share with you. Anyway, as I
Mm.
said, that's probably enough. So
Yeah.
the strategy I think I may have mentioned the other day, but just
Yeah.
because you seem like a pretty. I'm thinking you're a clever guy, which is good because it's that's helps me a lot, right? So, given particularly you've got a number of sort of a lot of different skills available to you, right? But just
Yeah.
understanding what I was talking to you about before around this is what you'll see in the proposal is this. This is how we recommend websites be set up. Remember, so when you're
Yeah.
looking, just keep that in mind. Yeah. So have the phone
Okay.
number, have the things up here. Potentially have a
Yeah.
social plug-in on the website as well. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. the strategy that we talk about is, yeah, social media is awesome, but it's even more
Yeah.
awesome when the business is great, and
Mm.
that we're doing some other things, right? You're in a good location where you are, so that in itself is a communication, right? People just
Yeah.
seeing your signage, the fact that you're next to, WGBW, pretty close, that sort of stuff, right? But
Yeah. Yeah.
clearly, email marketing, flyers, any other,
Mm.
so it's, SEO or anything else that you might finish up doing in the future,
Yeah.
all that contributes, right? We're
Yes.
going to make sure we
100%.
talked about it. You're going to be all star, but you're going to be all star as a representative of the brand as well as
Yes.
whatever else you want to represent. Um,
Okay.
we use a process where we take information from the website, we share it to the social medias because we want them to
Yeah.
come into the site, the store, or the, what do
Mhm.
you call it?
Workshop.
The workshop, is that's the word.
Yeah.
Come into the workshop,
Yeah.
or which a lot of old school people will probably do, right?
Yeah.
Or alternatively, they'll ring you,
Yes.
or they'll then maybe
Yes.
go to the website. But
Yes.
it's the path of least resistance, right? Um,
Mm.
we
Mm.
know that bugger all people do this. The strategy that we're using, at least do it
Yeah.
well. At best, they might
Yeah.
have a Facebook page. 50% of businesses have a Facebook page, but less than 30% have ever advertised. So all of a sudden, you're
Mm.
talking about a very low percentage of businesses likely to take any return on investment, which is really what we talk about here, right? So,
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
so, so yeah, that's probably generally speaking what we share. I'll get something to you. It would probably be good to do the setup in the next week or two. Yeah, before, while
Yep.
you're doing your website. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just a
Yep.
matter of deciding when you've got 3 hours available on a Tuesday or Thursday. Um,
I could make that happen. That's no issue.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
assuming that I'm okay as well. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, my week tends to book out Tuesday first, Thursday second, and Friday
Yeah.
third if needs be. But usually
Okay.
Tuesdays and Thursdays I try and keep fairly free.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What I might do is just head home early so I don't get distracted, and then just
Yeah.
yeah, I'll be able to sit the whole 3 hours. That shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. Well, the other
Yeah.
thing is though, if you're using this desktop that you're using here at work, is that your
Mm.
laptop or is that your
Yeah.
desktop?
Laptop.
That's
Laptop.
your
Yeah.
laptop, so it doesn't matter where you use it
Doesn't
from.
matter.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
perfect.
yeah, yeah.
All right, no worries. All right, well, as soon as, yes, have a chat with Nathan and I've gone a blank,
Danny.
with Danny, and
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't watch this recording, and then yeah, just let me know yeah, when might suit you in the next week or
Yeah.
so.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. No dramas at all.
But I'll get something
Perfect.
to you. I'll get something to you, including this recording, probably um,
Yeah.
by but before Monday next week, basically.
That's no dramas. No rush at all on that this stuff. That's all
Sweet.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to ask as well. Would you still charge the same for a little side hustle?
Well, because of the way we package, the answer
Mm.
probably is yes. But having said that, if we do it at the same time, there's usually we can save an hour or two.
Yeah. Okay.
So the
Okay.
reality is it still takes us time. So let's
Mm.
say, for instance, we might just want to allow an hour to do your side hustle setup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'd rather keep it separate.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
merge work. You know what I mean?
But to your point is
Yeah.
the main reason. Yeah. So the setup. Um, so I think particularly given once we've done you right, that's the
Mm.
thing. Um,
Yeah.
the setup we probably can do in as quick as an hour, but the problem often is whenever I say, oh yeah, we could do it quicker,
Mm.
often the fact is I still finish up having to do do the work myself, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah. I
so
know.
there is
There's
an element
more.
of you sort of
Yeah.
rub. So even with Western General, right? We said, okay,
Yeah.
well, I did set them up probably a little bit back in the day.
Yeah.
We can probably do it in 2 hours. As it turned out, they got called out for emergency. I still
Yeah.
reckon I spent the 2 plus 2 hours plus a bit more just making sure we get it done. So
It's always
I
the
often
case.
need to be mindful that I don't, what do they say? Chop off your nose to spite your face. So yeah,
100%. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but let
Yeah.
me tell you that I will look after you. Yeah, so that's it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll be interested. I won't
yeah,
be doing it soon, but yeah. I'll. Yeah.
we'll look
Let's.
after it. And so because I want,
Yeah.
the benefit for us is anybody that we've had our fingers on, we want to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that anyone that
It'll
we
be
work with,
good. I think it'll be interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
It'll save me so much time.
Sweet. No, it's good.
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. No, and
Yeah,
e-commerce type stuff does work, you know, depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it. Clearly, there's certain things on certain platforms that do work well with that sort of business.
yeah, 100%, 100%. Perfect.
Awesome.
So,
On you, Franco. Well, listen, I could probably hit the stop record on this. I don't think I'm going to say anything smarter than I've said already, and you've said lots of good stuff. So,
yeah.